All right, welcome back and welcome to chapter 1. Big smile on my face to say, why are you killing yourself? That's the name of chapter 1, actually. And so the emotion might not match the narrative, but the truth is, I decided to title chapter 1, Why Are You Killing Yourself? And I started with health here for a very particular and very specific reason. I know we're talking about mastery of the mind. I know we're talking about personal development. And yes, I did start my career in the personal, not just personal development, but the health and wellness side of personal development. And so health and human behavior has always kind of come hand in hand for me. And as you listen to my podcast episodes or you watch the videos, you'll get a deeper dive into understanding my background. And by the way, if you haven't already, definitely go check out episode 1 of my podcast. I get really kind of deep into my story, talk a little bit about my background. But I started with chapter 1 in the book, Why Are You Killing Yourself? Because I wanted people to understand human behavior. We cannot change our behavior by just focusing on the behavior. I spent so much of my career looking at people and working with people and helping them to do the work to change their behavior, but I kept asking myself what was missing. Why did people still drink? Why did they smoke? Why did they do things to harm themselves? And what I realized was, we harm ourselves with poor health behaviors because we're not dealing with our thoughts and our feelings. We're numbing them, we're trying to project them, shame them, blame them away. We're trying to escape from them. You're going to learn all about emotions as we go further into the book. But I wanted people to understand the seriousness of chronic disease, of these health behaviors that we're all living with. And I had several that I needed to tackle. I'm sure if you're here and you found yourself in this course, you're wanting something better, something different out of your life. We just went through our introduction on the video before this one, talking about creating a vision, a love-based vision for our life. And I would dare say any of us put in our love-based vision that we wanted to maintain the poor health behaviors or the habits, or to continue to unconsciously kill ourselves with doing shitty things. That's what I call them, shitty things that tear down our health and well-being. So this chapter, you're going to find a ton of health data in here. And actually, you might find yourself getting a little bit discouraged and disappointed. And you know what? That's okay. The truth is, nobody wants to hear how bad things are. But I need you guys to understand that when we look at, and as I look at the book right now while I'm talking to you, and I look at some of these graphics, this data is important. I don't want people to live in denial any longer. I wrote this book, I do this work because I want to help the world wake up. But part of helping the world wake up is we got to start talking about the truth. And the truth is we are killing ourselves. So in this chapter, you're going to learn lots of information. A ton of health data is in here. I tried to put it as best I could in some pretty graphics or visual ways so it wouldn't really overwhelm you. But I wanted you to understand the current state of our health. If we could understand that, then there's something that we can decide to do about our health, and we do have to get real with ourselves, which once you get through the data, the next part in chapter 1 is actually called the 10 steps to get real with ourselves. So I've got the actual table of contents here in front of me in the workbook version that you have at home. And then I've got my version that I teach from when I do the podcast and the videos. And so as I'm flipping through this, I'm reminded that, yeah, there's a lot of data there, but these 10 steps of getting real with ourselves, take some time to read through these. Really understand we are the ones that are responsible for our health and well-being. If we get into the conversation, yes, you could say, yeah, but don't genetics come into play? Aren't there other things that I need to look at? Possibly. But the truth is, you wake up every day and make decisions that either take you further away from health and well-being or closer to it. So you've got your vision crafted by now, and now we want you to see, is what I'm doing in my human behavior taking me closer to my vision or further away from it? That's the purpose of the vision. Now that you have it and you can start to see what's going on in our world and in our country, you can start to identify with which of these health behaviors and habits am I actually using to deal with some stuff that's kind of underneath the surface. And you'll hear me in one of my podcast episodes talk about this, but it's really a metaphor. It's like holding a beach ball underwater. So we say, oh, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna do really good today. I'm not gonna have 2 glasses of wine when I get off from work. I'm gonna start the day off healthy, and I'm not gonna be negative and then go numb it away with alcohol at the bar afterwards. And that sounds great, but then stress comes, the world hits us. We haven't been taught the skills to manage our thinking, feeling, behaving process that you're going to learn in this work. And then what happens is we choose a health behavior to numb and to get us away from what we are not able to deal with. And that's really what this whole chapter is teeing up. And so as you go through the data, you're going to hear a little bit, obviously, from me and a little bit of my story. One of the stories that's in here is really when I was younger and 17, I was off the rails partying. And, I talk about a lot in this chapter about the personal loss that I had with my grandfather, my brother, my father. You can read more about that. Their personal health choices actually killed them. And so I don't want that for you. I say this a lot of time to my clients, but you matter to somebody. So as you're doing the work in chapter 1, really, I know it sounds really harsh. Why are you killing yourself? I want you to stop killing yourself. I want you to see this information and know that you have the ability to stop doing that. I was able to figure out how to do that with this work, and now I'm sharing it with you. So as you go through and then you move into those 10 steps to get real with yourself, there's a tool for wow in this one that I really want to make sure you pay special attention to. There's a TED Talk, and it's actually titled Conception to Birth. This is an incredibly powerful video. I add other wisdom teachers' content all throughout my book. I don't believe that I have all the answers. And the truth is, as you do this work, you'll figure out where your answers lie inside of you. So when you watch this TED Talk, I really want you to pay attention to, and he talks about the magic. He says there's divinity to life itself that mathematics cannot explain. So you're going to have some fun watching a really great TED Talk. There's a really cool guided imagery practice in here, imagining yourself as a baby. The truth is, if I gave you as an infant right now and said, I need for you to take care of him or her for the next 24 hours, you wouldn't take it to the bar. I hope you wouldn't. You wouldn't feed it alcohol. You certainly wouldn't give it cigarettes or fast food. You would treat an infant with as much love and care and fragility and kindness and nurturing as you could. That's the way I want you to start thinking about yourself. So that's the purpose of this chapter, to take you a little bit deeper in. We've got to get heavy right out of the gate, but I promise you it gets a little bit better as we go. You've got some really cool content and tools, video, and some worksheets. And as always, I end it with a poem so that you can kind of settle into a little bit of a felt experience, and you can balance out a lot of the logic and a lot of the data that I'm hitting you with. And I am hitting you with it, but I am a truth seeker and a truth teller. So if I don't tell you the truth, who will? So this is what chapter 1 is all about. A recap: why are you killing yourself? The current state of our health, the 10 steps to get real with ourselves. You've got some cool videos and exercises. One thing I want to make sure I remind you of is podcast episodes actually follow the bullet points in the book. So you've got 2 podcast episodes you could listen to that accompany chapter 1. They're titled the same as the table of contents in the workbook. So you just need to go either to Apple or Spotify or to the video links that we have here under the videos, and you can watch them in video or you could find them in audio. That's going to give you a deeper teaching and a little bit more insight on each one of the bullet points that's in the table of contents. So I want to leave you on a positive note. The good news is you can stop killing yourself today. You can wake up and start to realize that your behavior is just a result of, and you're going to learn this as we come up into the next chapter, of your thoughts. So join me on the next video in chapter 2 where we'll be talking about the link is what you think. I'll see you over there.